Sean Gallagher, the book launch sequel, Navigating the Modern Jungle. Bodyguard, author, speaker. In the latest episode of the Straight Talk Mind and Muscle podcast, I welcome back Sean Gallagher, a renowned expert in self-defense and personal safety training. Sean, who has an extensive background in bodyguarding and multiple martial arts training, shares invaluable insights from his newly launched book, Navigating the Modern Jungle. This episode delves into the critical themes of self-defense, personal safety, and situational awareness, offering listeners practical advice and expert recommendations to navigate the complexities of modern life safely. We cover the importance of self-defense education in schools, the need for situational awareness in daily life, psychological and physiological aspects of violence, reporting suspicious behaviour and incidents, understanding modern threats, including drug-facilitated assaults, aka drink spiking, the role of communication skills in personal safety, addressing victim blaming in case of assault, experiences and insights from bodyguarding high-profile clients, practical advice for maintaining personal safety and awareness, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Trust your gut feelings and report any suspicious behaviour to authorities or venue staff, especially when it comes to drink spiking, and know the signs. Learn to recognise the signs of someone being drugged or in distress. Symptoms can include sudden dizziness, confusion, or unusual behaviour. Towards the end of the show, Sean reflects on his extensive career as a bodyguard for high-profile clients, including the celebrities. He shares a memorable experience with Kate Moss, highlighting her down-to-earth nature and kindness. Sean emphasises that despite the pressures of fame, many clients are just regular people facing their own challenges. He provides valuable insights into self-defense, personal safety, and the importance of awareness in navigating modern life. Sean's expertise and experiences underscore the need for education and training in self-defense, particularly for young people. By fostering communication skills and situational awareness, individuals can better protect themselves and avoid potentially dangerous situations. And I encourage you to explore Sean's new book, Navigating the Modern Jungle, as a valuable resource for enhancing your understanding of personal safety and self-defense. By implementing this actionable advice and insights shared in this episode in his book, you can enhance your personal safety and contribute to a safer community for everyone. So stay vigilant, trust your instincts, and prioritize your safety in all situations. Now you can find Sean's book on Amazon. The link is below in the show notes. You can find Sean himself, again, the link's in the show notes, at avictus.co.uk, and on Insta at Avictus Training. Again, the links are down there in the show notes. Thanks for watching. I'm Damien Porter, former New Zealand Special Forces operator, subject matter expert from hownottoDieGuy.com. And you're listening to my Straight Talk Mind and Muscle podcast, sponsored by State, the ultimate daily formula for optimum hormone health, stress management, energy, and performance. 100% natural and clinically proven ingredients. Provides everything you need to raise your game in a convenient gut-friendly capsule. And my new sponsor, Michael Mason of the Mason Survival Protocol. Links for my former shows are in the show notes below. Thanks for watching. And we're live. Welcome to the Straight Talk Mind and Muscle podcast. Welcome to our return guest, which I always love having, Sean Gallagher. Thank you for coming on.
Cheers, mate. It's nice to see you again.
You're really good. I love chatting with guys at the start before we hit record. Really nice to catch up. And, you know, we said just hit record because of that question I put to you. You've put out a book, and we're going to go through all that. First up, right at the start of the show, where do people go to find you for your website and to grab your book?
So the book is on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon, Amazon Prime. That's Navigating the Modern Jungle is the name of the book. You can get me on Instagram, Sean Gallagher, or you also find it under Avictus Training, and the webpage is avictustraining.co.uk.
Avictus, and the book Navigating the Modern Jungle. I'm going to get to why you titled it that, which is awesome. But you're quite well known through the internet for a quote, for possibly a paragraph that you put out about self-defense, and your opinion of self-defense should be taught in schools like swimming is compulsory. And I'd like to touch off there, and then we can go into the book. So there's a great clip of you out there talking about that, compulsory training in schools, compulsory education. Swimming is definitely compulsory. Everybody should learn to swim so they don't drown. That's a
Yeah.
duty of care. What do you think about self-defense in schools as a little kid?
I think awareness training,
Yeah,
body language, communication training, because I've been teaching in schools for a number of years now. I get asked to go into schools around the country, and it's usually a member of the police force has asked if I can go into the schools because maybe there's been highlighted an issue, etc., etc. And the biggest thing I find is the kids nowadays, normally due to social media, I think social media, emailing, texting, because they're not dealing face to face like we used to, there's a huge lack of social confidence. So I think bringing back basic communication skills and understanding communication, not just verbal, but body language, will really help young people nowadays avoid situations and be more aware of a potential threat before something's happened. So I think they need to get people into schools who aren't just telling kids to punch someone in the face and run away, but
yeah.
let's try and avoid it in the first place. And the only way you can do that is through communication, verbal and physical body language, recognizing the signs and also recognizing the physiology, the body telling them that something's not right here. So that's not taught. We have these given natural instincts that have evolved over millions of years, saying something's not right here, remove yourself. And it's not taught to kids. They have no idea that they're dealing with a potential predator or potential threat. So it needs, in my opinion, but I think from my experience, it really needs to be taught in schools and get them as young as possible.
I agree. And I'm just listening to Vaj Freeborn's book. Anybody out there should read it or listen to it. Amazing guy. Same thing. He talks about self-defense, talking about the legal, the financial, the emotional, mental, psychological um, uh, things that it can occur from a self-defense situation. You need to defend yourself physically, but that might mean you got to go to court and possibly go to jail, or it might mean, as you said, with communications, these kids, they just don't have that communication skill, and it might go terribly wrong. And because they haven't been used to confrontation, been used to just having an argument, that can go awry. But then what about seeing all those things prior? Because we don't want to be in that situation. And school's not a dangerous place. It's a relatively safe place, but if you don't see those signs first and stop them from escalating and be able to remove yourself from the situation, then it can escalate very quickly out of control. So I think what you said there about communication and as young as possible is brilliant, because so much of the time we can remove ourselves from the situation before it goes sideways.
Well, I'm sure you've experienced in your career, special forces and in the police, you've experienced situations that were potentially hostile, could have easily turned physical, but you managed to communicate and de-escalate just by understanding body language, not theirs, but your own, and a little bit of communication, empathy. And you know that the situation that could have got very nasty, you've managed to communicate and move away from it, or they've moved away from you. And that is self-defense. People think self-defense is just banging someone in the jaw, or the thing I hate is teaching them to stand there and kick someone in the nuts. My pet
Yeah,
hate myself. Um, but numerous reasons why I hate that. But yeah, it's self-defense is not combat.
no,
There's a big picture out there, and self-defense starts with awareness and recognition and avoidance, communication, de-escalation, and then if you have to, then it's physical. But people are teaching a lot of nonsense nowadays. You know yourself. You look at some of the stuff that's out there with, 10,000, 15,000 likes, you go, wow, not only is that nonsense, it's dangerous.
yeah.
But there's more dangerous things being taught than actual, real, effective, functional techniques.
I like that you said functional. And going back to your original answer to my question about self-defense in schools, and you talk about situational awareness, be able to see that threat, that's paraphrasing you. You said from your experience. And for the listeners and the viewers that haven't seen the first show with you in it, your experience is 30 years as a bodyguard to the top people in the world. You know, a bodyguard's job is to shield that client, principal, whatever fancy words you want to use, but shield the person you're paid to protect and get them the hell away from danger. It's not to get in a fight and a tussle in John Wick. It's to literally get them away to a safe place, right?
Yeah, well, avoid it. If you can't avoid it, get out of it. And then if you're stuck in it, then usually you've done something wrong
Yes.
or you haven't been switched on enough to recognize that threat. It's not always the CPO's um, fault. I mean, I hate it. I was on a course recently, not a course, but I was sitting in on a course to do a little bit of a talk. And one of your instructors going, well, we know there's no threat there. And I was like, "Oh, you can't say that. There's no known threat.
Hmm.
There's always the element of the unknown. I mention this in the book as well. There's no such thing as no risk. There's always a risk. It could,
Oh,
it could be tripping over, so, a slippery curb. It could be anything. And there's always the element of the unknown because you can't predict other people's movements.
you're telling
So,
me, you're telling me, Sean, I was driving home just literally 2 days ago, and there's a little, they call it a bingle here in Australian language, but a tiny little car crash, a fender bender, as you'd say in the USA. And I got out to help because I am a fireman. And it turned out the guy that crashed into them, he hit his car in reverse and took off. He was in a car that wasn't his. He was 3 times the legal limit over, and he was driving like a madman. So that was I can't say it's no risk to me. I've gone in there to help people, but it actually turned out to be an incredibly risky situation. This guy could have killed people. So you're so right. You've just got to keep your head a bit more switched on than going, hey, this is totally safe. I can switch off, but not going in there super vigilant. But you got to be clever about these things, don't you?
as you know, dynamic risk assessment.
Yeah.
You walk into certain places, your alert level rises and it drops down to maybe medium, but you'll never switch it off. You're not even switched off when you're asleep. If you've ever spoke to sleep scientists and sleep doctors, you're never 100% asleep. There's always a slight alertness. And women who've got children are more alert in their sleep
Oh, yeah,
because they're trying to recognize when their child is crying. So
totally.
there's so much physiology, psychology behind self-defense and awareness that isn't really getting taught, and it needs to be.
That's a perfect segue to the book. I really wanted to somehow pull off a setup about you, about the book, about the stuff in general. And we come to the book, Navigating the Modern Jungle, because that's really what it is. And we've got to some of the title there, but how did you come up with the title and what's the book about?
Oh,
Beautiful.
yeah. So came up with the title purely by accident. I think I was in America. I was even just finished the cruise and we got back to America. I was staying with some dear friends in California, and I'm just tapping away. And then me and my friend of mine, he still works for the Navy. He's ex-SF many years ago, now retired, then went back and works for the Navy. And we were just discussing. I said, "Oh, it's just a jungle out there. Just trying to navigate it." And it just went that light bulb moment that we all get. And I scribble it down,
Yep.
and then I just started saying it. Actually, this sort of flows. It purely by accident. I started writing a book by accident.
Yep.
It was a handout for one of my. I wrote a few courses in the UK that are nationally recognised. And when you do a CPD course, continuing professional development certified course, you have hand, excuse me, handouts.
Yep.
And I was there with Ginge Johnson and another couple of guys who were helping me teach. And they go, "Oh, you got the handouts, hand them out." And Sean, this isn't a handout, this is a book. And it just rolled from there.
Yep.
Went on a cruise for 2 weeks, carried on writing, carried on writing. Next thing you know, 30 pages are 160. And that was it.
Brilliant.
But yeah, that's how I got the name. Purely, it is a jungle out there. And because I was talking, I really talk a lot about our natural instincts from when we were living in the wilds, living in the caves, going through the jungles, avoiding predators.
Hmm.
These senses, these instincts, we've still got them. We still have them. They're evolutionary, evolved, but we're just not using them anymore. There's scientific studies that show that your body reacts to a threat before the conscious mind even recognizes what that threat is. So why aren't we teaching that? Why aren't we teaching people to go, "Oh, you got that sick feeling, you got that weird feeling, you don't feel like something's not right? you're probably right. Step back, assess, get out of there.
That
And
goes
that's
and that goes along with what Tony Blair is quoted so often for, um, interviewing so many victims of violence, and they all say, uh, to a man and a woman, oh, something didn't feel right, but something didn't feel right, but I didn't want to be impolite. I didn't want to say something. And of course, in hindsight, they're going, I should have listened to those senses that you're talking about.
and he's right. He's Tony's at the forefront of that. Um, he's bang on the money because my wife and I work with victims of domestic crime, violent assaults on the street, and sexual assaults. And my
Wow.
wife worked with um, rape SOS, rape crisis in the UK,
Hmm.
and every one of them said, "Feeling about it, yeah, yeah." But you didn't know, did you? I didn't know. I just, thought I was being strange, or it was peer pressure. They didn't want to feel embarrassed, or they felt ashamed.
Yep.
All this sort of stuff. And fuck peer pressure. If you don't feel right, assess,
Yep.
get out, because your instincts are normally right.
You're so right. I was lucky to take a client that's been through some of my courses. She's off to Germany and then Germany and Bali, I think. So what an interesting, two different environments. So she just wanted some situation awareness training, a bit of, I call it adding files so you can access into her brain. Um, and it's different. So Germany is a relatively safe place, but there's a lot of knife stabbings that have happened there lately. And she's going to be around the beer fest. So first thing off was secure the hotel room, think about where you're going. And then, of course, there was probably mugging or minor crime situations in a third world country like Bali. Um, but most of it was just putting those files in her brain that she just didn't think about. Oh, this is what you see when someone's walking towards you and so on. Um, just so that so people have an awareness. Now, your book, I'm sure, would cover a lot of those things. So, can we delve into the book a little bit and just go through the broad brushstrokes of it?
Yeah. Well, I pretty much start off with something that really hits home with myself and my wife, Angie, because when we were training people who've been sexually assaulted, a lot of these people, and it's tens of thousands, don't report sexual assault
Wow.
because they didn't fight back and they feel ashamed because they didn't fight back.
Mm.
No one's talking about in self-defense courses um, when
The
you
black
get the
dog.
paralysis, sort of involuntary paralysis.
Oh, sorry. Yes, of course, that freeze.
Yeah,
It's a very normal thing.
yeah. So,
People have to know about it.
well, people go fight, flight, freeze, and I disagree with this. I think it's freeze, fight, flight, paralysis, because no matter what you're training, you'll know from your background and the best training in the world, everybody freezes. It
Yep.
depends on the type of training, how much of that training you've had, whether you're going to freeze or not. So I teach people firearms, and you get guys come, I've done this and done that. They've never heard a firearm go off. Guess what? As soon as they're in a line and the person beside them fires a pistol, they freeze
And they
because
should.
they've never.
And they should.
And they should. Of course they should.
Mm.
And everybody does. So I think it's freeze, fight, flight, and then you've got temporal paralysis. And temporal paralysis is what's not taught on a lot of courses. And it's something, it's survival instinct from the brain. It's primeval, it's evolutionary. And they think it goes back to some theory, say it goes back to the time of when we were hunting and we saw a predator. You can't run, so you froze. And that's what a lot of women do. It's really, really common in the case of sexual assaults. So I started the book with that and victim blaming, because that's something we dealt with a lot. A lot of women was like, oh, what were you wearing? Oh,
Oh,
what
no.
did you say no?
Can I just pause that, Sean? Because we are on the same page, but this is for the listeners and the viewers. And it comes from when I talk to friends of mine, females, and I say, look, females shouldn't have to think about this stuff, but they do. And then I say, when once as a man did you think about, oh, should I wear this out or not? And I might get in trouble. I might get touched up. A man has never thought about that. That's shocking, but it's also a reality. It's a bit of both, but
It-
it should never be shamed. But just the men listening to this, I really want that to sink in. Gosh, a woman has to consider what she's wearing for potential, what you're saying, what my guest Sean is saying is sexual assault. That's just blows my mind. But we don't live in a perfect world, so it is a reality as well.
we never will live in a perfect world. That's what I'm trying to get in this book, because a lot of people when we do this course, I shouldn't have to do self-defense. I shouldn't have to learn this.
I agree they shouldn't, but that's not the world.
However, that's not the world we live in,
Yeah.
and we're never going to get rid of these predators. You're not going to get rid of them. They've been
Yeah.
there since the dawn of time, and they'll be there long after we're gone.
Yeah.
So we need our safety and our security is our responsibility. So I start off on that. I go into personal safety and awareness, um, importance of situation awareness, and anticipation, avoidance. I mean, I'm just flicking through some of the chapters here now.
Yeah.
But there are 23, 24 chapters. Phases of aggression, the bystander effect, apathy in a
Yes.
crowd, relationship between personal space and violence, the physiological reactions, the physical reactions, creating space, assessing the situation. I don't know, what's it? Temporal paralysis, I call it the silent sentinel of survival, um, personal safety and awareness, the importance of situational awareness, risk assessing. I've got a huge chapter, chapter 6, on why people are targeted, understanding why people are targeted. I mean, there's even stuff, psychological studies, predators can recognize the length of a gait of someone walking. There's some studies out there that say a predator will determine within 7 seconds whether you're a target or not.
Yep.
And some of it is just looking down at your phone. It's the way you hold your head. It's the way you hold your body. It's the length of your gait when you're walking. Everything. It's really interesting. It blows my mind when I go over it. I've got a whole section on understanding violence. I did a whole section on the impact of high stress in violent confrontations on the human psyche and physiology. So I've gone into the physiological responses, the psychological responses, the long-term effects, because I'm sure you know a lot of people who've suffered long-term effects. Functional self-defense. I've gone into stalking, understanding sexual assaults. I've got a whole section on sexual assaults, perpetrators, sexual assaults on men and on women.
Yep.
I think it's important to, I know we know there's not as many men, but it does happen. Drug facilitated sexual assaults and the predator's methods. So we don't call it rape drugs now, or date rape.
Date rape, yeah.
Yeah, it's not called date rape anymore. It's drug facilitated sexual assault, because a lot of these women weren't on a date at all. They're with their friends,
Yeah,
and the drinks.
of course.
So we need to consider that. You're not always on a date. You didn't make a bad decision with someone you went out with. You were targeted.
I'm going to come back to that one, Sean, the being drugged. But isn't that interesting? And again, speaking to the listeners and the viewers, now, you rattled off at least 15 chapters, and one of them was hands-on, one of them. And that's really what you're talking about, and what we teach is, if it goes hands-on, it's the first thing I'll teach in a course, essentially anything physical, because I need to do worst case scenario backwards. But all the things leading up to that is those outer rings of protection, using your senses, using your eyes, ears, everything, knowing where you're going, all those the threat assessments. It's all files that people can access that they just didn't think about before. And it really is that person that you said, Sean, I shouldn't have to learn self-defense. I agree. However, now that you know that, hey, a stabbing can occur in Germany with police around, a stabbing can occur in France in the playground. What happened in Bondi here in Australia the other day in the Westfield Mall. Well, now you don't have the right to say that anymore. I agree with you. Before that had ever happened, but now you do have to step up. The drugging. I just wanted to come back and pick your brains, because you've got your experience, but you've got such great science and around it and pro human dynamics. I got asked a question the other day, and it was a horrible question because I didn't have the answer. And this woman asked me, what do I do about the barman drugging me? Because it happened to her. And that blew my mind. So you're so right. It's not on a date. She sure as hell wasn't dating the barman, but it did happen.
Yeah.
We say, look after your drink, keep an eye on your drink all the whole time. But what about the barman pouring your drink? This is a left field question that I'll throw at you, Sean.
Yeah, it's the barman, the person who just walks past, the stranger who's standing beside your bar.
Mm,
It doesn't matter what their role is in that actual environment.
mm,
They're a predator, and if you don't trust the barman, leave the place. Report it. Always report it. I said, so many people go on for it are saying, silly, report it. Okay, because the more reports they get, the police get, the more chance there is of you potentially saving some young girl's life,
Yes.
or definitely saving her from being assaulted. So the biggest thing that we used to say is, did you report it? Felt stupid. Don't feel stupid. Don't feel stupid for doing what is right. Trust your instincts. If you think that barman's dodgy, watch them. Never let bars. We sort of say to my daughter all the time, but you still, we teach courses for women, and you still get women go, oh yeah, oh, a bit hangover last night. We met some guys that were buying us drinks all night, and me and my wife going, they were buying you drinks all night. Yeah, you knew them. No, they went up to the bar and bought you back drinks. Yeah, oh, it was a free night. You can't do that nowadays. You got big thing in Southend-on-Sea was injecting girls with drugs.
Wow.
Yeah, there's also putting them in vapes, the
Yep.
aerosol, spraying women in car parks, walking off, and she gets a bit dizzy, and someone guides off to another area or into a different car. It sounds like we're scaremongering, but you're not scaremongering if these actually happen on a daily basis. You're being realistic and you're being honest. We're not trying to scare people, but these happen all the time. And I've got
I
a
like what you
massive
said,
set.
Sean. I like what you said about reporting it though, because again, anybody listening now, historical report is still fine. So anybody listening now, something happened to them a year ago, 2 years ago, and they're embarrassed, they can still go and report that, and that might save the girl next week. You brought up such a great point, and this is a great thing for people that are listening. It might save someone else's life, so that's brilliant. And I'm sure you, the same as me, you've had to coach people through. Listen, you've got to go report that. This is what you do. And of course, women have a lot of stigma around that, but eventually, when they do, it's a weight off their shoulders, and they've helped someone else, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, we used to get asked to put on training courses for police forces in the UK, and the amount of women turned up, and then like after like the second lesson, they'd come up and start speaking to me or my wife Angie. Oh, this happened to me. Did you report it? No, I feel silly. Well, the two women sitting in the coffee shop at the front reception, because we had a coffee shop where they could come and talk. They're police officers, and my wife would go, "Do you want me to come with you?" She goes, well, "Do you mind?" But it happened, 6 months ago, and we're going, "It doesn't matter." Put it down. These two police officers be there, write it down.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And at the times that happened is mind blowing. So always report it. Don't feel stupid about listen to your instincts. Don't feel stupid. Don't worry about peer pressure. Don't care what your friends say. If you don't feel safe, leave. If you don't feel quite right about someone, mention it to someone. And if you think someone has done anything, report it immediately, because you could be saving someone's life. Certainly someone well, I think it's their life, because they're psychologically damaged for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
If it is a life-threatening situation. And these people, I always say this on the courses, they're not men, they're animals. I'm a man, you're a man. We protect the people around us. We
Mm.
provide, that's what a man does.
Yeah.
These people who attack women and they drug rape, drug facilitated assault, they're not men.
No,
They're
it's
just
just predators. Uh,
yeah.
that's what I'll finish up on, I think, because you've given a great overview of the book, and we've got some amazing gold out there that people can literally access. And if it's happened to them and they've listened, they can take action. But you mentioned about the 7 seconds for a predator to pick a victim. There is a difference between picking a victim, particularly a female, and picking the male to
Yeah.
fight. And these are real bad guys. So let me paint a picture. Classic example, you talked about a gait, probably a weak gait and shoulders down and looking down and so on. That could be an opportunistic female or weak male that the bad guy wants to get something from. So the logical on paper would be, chest up, walk around, walk tall, good eye contact. If you're a male and you make eye contact with a guy that is a red flag to, you can be in a world of hurts. That's different again, isn't it?
It is different, and everybody's different. It's like you can't tar over the same brush. So what I like to do, if I feel someone staring at me, I always like to look at them and go, "Oh, mate," and
Yeah.
I'll carry on with that.
Smile and wave.
Yeah, you can smile. "Oh, mate, how you doing?"
Yeah,
And I'll carry on. What goes, "You know him?" I went, "No, but he was staring at me." So I let him know he's been seen, and let him know I'm not intimidated. But I
exactly.
keep it polite. I don't go, "Who are you staring at?" You're antagonising the situation. So I just go, oh, mate, and I'll carry on. But then in my peripheral, I'm monitoring it. I might even cross the road so I can still see them. But I don't turn my back on them because my spider sense, or whatever you want to call it, my instincts are going, not sure about that one. I might even go and stop in a coffee shop and browse and look out the window, see what they're doing. Are they targeting someone else? Is there a group of them?
Yep.
But I won't stand there and just stick my chest out like a pigeon and start, oh, you staring at. You know, you never try and antagonize a situation because I don't know if he's carrying a weapon. I don't know what his intent is. It could be short-sighted. I think he recognizes me. It's not always a bad intent. You know, so everybody's different. You've got to judge the situation. You've got to rely on your instincts. If your instincts are telling you this guy's a wrong one, trust it.
Yep.
Get yourself away from that situation. Still keep situationally aware. Raise your threat level up another level, and leave.
Exactly. If you can extract yourself, I think that's the best option. Same as you do with a client, you want to extract them for this situation. If the situation you walk into went a bit sideways, and like you kind of said, you haven't really done your job if it's gone sideways. But then again, there's always that sort of lone wolf that you just missed, and we don't expect the general public to be out there, eyes everywhere, head on a swivel. It's normal to miss things, but these are all bits of information, files that people can access from your book. Okay, I didn't think about that. Now I will. Now that's just something and then when it happens to them, that the situation out there, they go, oh, I read that in that book. That's what's happening. And that is from their freeze to decision making, that time that's the freeze is normal, that decision making time is a bit shorter because they've read something that you've written there.
Yeah, well, it is a guide, and as Lofty Wiseman described it, Lofty is a legend in the old SAS
He
UK.
is.
He described it as an excellent guide for beginners, but a great refresher for the experienced. I mean, I've got his foreword in the front of the book as well. And Ginge also turned around and said, Ginge Johnson, ex-regiment man, who you probably know, he turned around and said, it's like the modern day Bible for personal safety, which from these guys who are legends in the SAS, what a huge compliment.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't get that big grin on my face for weeks. Mike dropped my but they've put forwards in the book. It's just me, 30 odd years of information from being a security specialist, but also a martial artist, a combat instructor, and also a self-defense instructor. All this stuff jumbled in my head, and I've just pretty much regurgitated it onto a page and made sense of it. And I really hope that even if one person reads it and goes, that helped me. I've already had some brilliant feedback from women who've never even considered self-defense, but also today I had great feedback from some very experienced bodyguards, close protection officers, been in the game for 20 odd years. And I'm going, oh, mate, it just light bulb moment. Police officers have also commented on it.
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant.
yeah, if it helps one person, I'm over the moon. I
Oh,
really am.
I'm so stoked that when you told me that your book is coming out, and on that, I think it'd be a great addition to the courses that I've got running for people to take away as their handout. Just more information, the better. Um, I'd like to just finish up with one question just popped into my head from your experience, and I do realize that not many people have access to people like you. I'm very honored to be able to access people like yourself and all the other great guests. So I thought I'd ask a question, a little bit of opening the kimono. Who was your favorite client to work for out of 30 years? I mean, I know you've done Beyonce, J-Lo, Kate Moss, all the big names, but who was your favorite client that you enjoyed working for?
I was with a very high profile multi-billionaire. I was head of his degree for 22 years.
Oh,
And that's why I got passed out to his friends who were like J-Lo and everything. But the most down to earth, the friendliest person, have a problem, turn up at their house in the country at 2 a.m. in the morning and they're making you a ham sandwich in the kitchen, a cup of tea, and sitting down having a chat with you, was Kate Moss.
oh,
Kate, brilliant, lovely, one of your own. But I've got to say, they were all nice with me. I never had a problem with a client, a principal who I thought never again. They're all. The problem we've got in the industry now, in my opinion, is either guy wants to be the CPO now wants to be the celebrity.
oh,
He was standing, be the man in grey, But you're there because these people have their own problems, and you can't expect them to be, Mr. or Mrs. Jolly every single day. They're going through problems, and a lot of the time, like I was in my principal, I was that closest person to them for most of their working life. So I was probably with them more than their wife was or the kids were.
Yeah.
So at times it takes things out on you, but don't take it personally. We all have good days, we all have bad days. So never really had a bad client. But I would say one of the most down to earth was Kate. Yeah, it really was Kate. She was great.
Brilliant.
Can't, I was in Mexico with quite a few of them, and all I've never had anybody be rude to me. They're all great, all really, really nice people.
Sean, your communication is brilliant. I've always enjoyed talking with you from the first show and right through. And probably that show was about a year ago, and we've kept in touch so regularly. And I think you give what you get what you give, and your communication. And we talked about that as both ways. You're reading them, and you're giving what you get, getting what you give there. So testament to you. And on that communication with your book, I love that you've written it, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I managed to put a few on the story time there, a few of your top tips, and I'll be putting a few more out as well.
Your book is here, and I'm sending it out to you with some merchandise. So if you send it out this week.
That's amazing. My boy loves getting the gift packs from everybody. It's great. Thanks so much. Again, we've got the narration of the show notes at the start. We've got your website there at the start. But again, where's the best website to go to you see more about you? Was it Evictus?
Evictustraining.co.uk. But you're better off probably going to the Instagram page, which
Yep.
is Evictus Training.
I love that.
AVICTUS, because I'm really bad with social media. I'm in my mid-50s now. I don't belong in that stuff. Yeah, that's the best way to get through to me. Evictus Training, AVICTUS Training.
Beautiful. Look, I'm really honored to be able to showcase your book, your achievements there, and to have you back on as a return guest. So thank you so much for your time, and wish you all the best for the success of that. And again, if just one person reads it, then we've done our jobs.
I'll be over the moon. If one person turns around and goes, you know what, this really helped me,
Yeah.
blown away.
Yeah.
Be happy. But really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. It is really deeply appreciated. And for everybody else out there who's bought the book, I believe it was in top 20 on Amazon over the weekend. No, over the moon. Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm so happy. Brilliant. We'll hit pause, have a quick chat.
Hi, thanks for watching. I'm Damien Porter, former New Zealand Special Forces operator and former Australian police officer, and your podcast host. Please check out my new project at hownottodieguy.com, where I teach everything you need to know to both males and females, at-risk populations, schools, kids, and the elderly for self-defense, situational awareness, and all-round skills that every good person should know. Thanks for watching.